with us. A warm welcome to him. Could we please have a round of applause? Dr. Jitendra Singh ji will be speaking to us about what the future of news reaching 1 billion homes would mean and look like. India's digital revolution has seen the transfer of cable TV to D2H, which has unleashed India's satellite technology, harnessing potential from a sole antenna being adjusted. We all remember that. The shifting of antennas when you were probably watching a cricket match or missing a key moment in a movie. But that is all of yesterday. Now we have, of course, numerous news channels using specific and the best satellite bandwidth to reach homes in high definition. With the advent of 5G technology, that was, of course, announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently, along with India making strides in launching artificial satellites, we will have unparalleled broadcasting capabilities, and all of this also falls in the ambit of the ministry of our next speaker today.
Yes, and needless to say, this will also ultimately translate to the scenario of news reaching to 1 billion households, which is the eventual aim. This will also have its own set of challenges, and the regulation will come as a paradigm shift of content proliferation. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. To speak to us about these is none other than Dr. Jitendra Singh, Minister of State for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences under the charge of the PMO. He's been a professor, a consultant, clinical practitioner, author of 8 books, yes, and a newspaper columnist, and also the ex-chairman for the National Scientific Committee Diabetes and the Research Society for the Study of Diabetes, yes, in India. And to welcome him, we also have an audio-visual playing out before that. After that, we'd like to have you on stage, sir.
Let's play out the AV, please.
At the intersection of telecom, media and technology are the regulatory bodies with a mission to nurture conditions for growth, with a vision to play a leading role in the global information society. Universal access and reaching 1 billion homes is key. A level playing field for fair competition is necessary. Joining us now is the Union Minister of State Science and Tech, Earth Sciences, PMO, Department of Personal Training, Atomic Energy and Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh, to elucidate on future of news reaching 1 billion homes.
Let's welcome Dr. Jitendra Singh on stage, please, for his
a huge round of applause.
Thank you for your kind introduction. In fact, I was about to come and I then realized the introduction was still carrying on. So thanks for reminding me of many of what oneself tends to forget. Nevertheless, I must confess, I actually didn't know where I'm going, what I'm going for. So I received a message from Arnab, and I'm here because I knew it was going to be a good cause. And I think that about all defines the credibility of NBF. So I was sure Arnab and his team is up to something, so it has to be a good cause in the national interest, and that's precisely what I'm seeing over here. And I was just now told that it's 3 years old, and I must also have, I think I have no hesitation saying that Arnab and his team have, and the entire lot of this federation has actually sought to change the narrative in news reporting and also news comment. Somehow, though it doesn't seem very flattering saying, in the years, bygone years, there was a trend of sounding intellectual by being slightly anti-India. And that somehow, the mindset stepped in that it was synonymous with intellectualism. You had to be unorthodox, you had to be rebellious, out of the way, you had to sound little anti-national so that, and if you could grow a long beard, that it'll supplement your persona. But I think that's very amazing. I've been saying this even for many years now, because I'm glad that now the NBF has taken up this cause. But when we there, I think 2008, when we had the much widely publicized this Amarnath land agitation, and this was one of the only channels possibly which was supporting the cause, the channel which was then being managed by Arnav. And even in those days, I always said that this is a mindset which has got in because of our legacy of carrying the hangover of feudal past. And it seems very fashionable talking like that, though it's not done even in the most advanced countries of the world. So once I narrated an anecdote, soon after the 1965 war, when President Johnson had taken over in US, because Kennedy got assassinated in December '64. And there was a press briefing by the President. That was soon after the war was over between India and Pakistan. And as usual, the President was narrating how the so-called Kashmir issue needs to be resolved, this, that, and the will of the people, etc., etc. So we had a journalist, I'm sure the old-timers will remember Mr. Inderjeet, who later on became a member of parliament also. So he used to tell, he said he suddenly got up and he said, Mr. President, don't you think many of the American states have also become a part of the United States in a similar manner, acceded or taken over Atlanta, Georgia, etc., etc. So the President immediately lost his cool and he said, gentlemen, we don't open closed chapters. That is a closed chapter. But in the Indian media, somehow it became fashionable to open the closed chapters and not let any chapter close down. So even if you had to discuss Kashmir, you had to discuss Northeast, you had to discuss it with a narrative which would appear as if India is at a gross fault or committing a sin by taking a position that it is taking. And I'm glad that this group of enlightened journalists have actually sought to change that narrative. It is no longer unfashionable to be a pro-Indian journalist or a pro-Indian thinker or a pro-Indian intellectual. So to my mind, I think in a single sentence, that is the biggest contribution of NBF to the cause of nation, to the society. And I wish them a good work in future. And healthy criticism, of course, is welcome because that offers us an opportunity for course correction. But criticism, just because it is a part of the Lutyens' evening jargon, may not have a long life. And I think gradually it's begun to realize, and sooner most of us realize, good for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that address, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and for gracing us with your presence. Could we once again have a round of applause for Dr. Singh? I would now like to invite Niranjan on stage to give us more details about our next very, very interesting session lined up at the NBF Conclave. Niranjan.
Thank you for that. Up next is a panel on the future of measurement. You've heard of BARC and beyond. We've had an extensive discussion this morning. Measurement is a key index for the efficacy of the news television industry in the country. It forms the basis for advertisers, some of whom were on stage a few minutes back, to invest their monies in a news platform. Considered how the system itself has